they have learned it?
I think it is very unlikely they would learn anything from Jet's segment there. These players both feel like extremely good Syndra players that already know how to do what Jet was talking about.
Definitely some cool mechanics there, though, but we are into the picks and bans for GRX versus 100 Thieves.
Spawn, did you know those mechanics?
I thought Jat had some sick Udyr mechanics. You take that back.
He is definitely an Udyr player, and I mean that in all possible ways.
Okay, well, anyway, last game of the tournament for these two teams.
Yes, it is.
Fighting for the pride of their regions, fighting for certainly the pride of their own teams. Both teams want to show that they are a team that certainly, can take down some of these other top teams. GRX looking for their first win, and 100 Thieves looking to stay dominant over the LMS squad.
And I think that a couple of bans here coming out, the Time Catch as well as the Alistar, could mean that they get some spicy picks in the bottom lane for Aphromoo. One thing that I think has been missing from this 100 Thieves squad is the ability to get Aphromoo onto one of his unique picks. Something like a Bard or a Blitzcrank, even a Thresh. And I think that part of that is to do with Rikara. Hasn't been the most staple mid laner for them. However, now that they are going towards something like a Thresh and they also flashed an Ezreal, I do have higher hopes for this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we got to see the Bard earlier today. Certainly didn't work out against Fnatic. He did play his Thresh last time against GRX and did have a very good game on it. I do also believe that Aphromoo is a very strong playmaking support. He can take over a game on his best day, and he's going to be looking to do that here.
I mean, the only win I should say that 100 Thieves has actually gotten was on that Thresh for Aphromoo, and actually got another pretty dominant top laner for Ssumday when he played Urgot earlier on. So playing the Aatrox, I think this is a better look for him. I was sad to see him on Sion both their games today in the group stage, but this is the look of a composition that I think puts two of their three best players on big champions and characters with agency over the game.
Yeah, sure. And on the flip side, I also think GRX has done a similar thing here. Stitch has been one of their standout players throughout the play-ins and now the group stages, getting a middle-of-the-game AD carry that does have its own playmaking ability as well. And the Kalista certainly sets this GRX lineup up for success.
Definitely a lot of kill potential there as well with the Kalista. If you can get on top of your opponent, stack those spears up. Certainly are some powerful kill lanes you could run. This could be a support Gragas for Koala. Certainly is a flex available there, though. Obviously, 2 jungle for empty. Gonna be interested to see where 100 Thieves goes with the AD carry, because there's already been a couple marksman bans, and they did decide to go for the Taliyah for Anda before this second round of bans. So GRX is going to target even more of these marksmen and try to get themselves a preferential matchup for Stitch, see if he can be the difference maker in this game. And I think this is a guy who certainly has the potential to carry. To me, he is the standout player on GRX and looked really good in play-ins in particular.
I think he's absolutely a phenomenal player, and hopefully he can put on another good show for us today, as now Lucian joins the list of bans, and that is 4 bot lane marksmen removed, plus that Kalista picked up. So we'll see what 100 Thieves wants to go for. I assume they'll wait to counter pick in the mid lane, so Rikara's pick going to be locked in here.
Yeah, and I assume it's just going to be Varus. I mean, at this stage of the game, why would you not go for something with superior range and lockdown CC, something that historically Kalista has always struggled with throughout the laning phase? You've also got the Thresh that can just walk at her. I actually think this is a fairly positive lane for 100 Thieves, and that's crazy to see given the fact that they've dropped the priority of their support and, 4 80 carry bans out there.
I do think the sort of second tier of marksman picks is all really good. You've got the sort of Xayah and Xayah, who are almost in every single game, but everything below that, whether you're looking at Lucian or Trist or this Varus, I think they're all very good.
But Varus was considered in the upper tier before Worlds started. I mean, sure, at Worlds we've seen kind of a little bit of a different meta, but I had Varus with the Xayah and the Xayah before this tournament.
Yeah, and Varus I do think is a strong laner. To me, these bans talk more about mobility and ability to reposition in a fight. That is something Varus doesn't have. Xayah has the ultimate. Xayah can reposition with the ultimate. You look at the dive they're setting up, that is the reasoning here, and that is initially what I had assumed when you see those bans. Varus is going to have a hard time getting away. That being said, you do also have Thresh, so if Aphromoo is in a good position, can lantern you out of danger in some of these fights, but Galio, Nocturne, Gragas, everyone flying in on top of you, and it's going to be a Kalista-ulted Gragas that is flying in on top of that Varus, and they're certainly going to be going after some of these low mobility carries like the Taliyah, like the Varus, who I think could be very vulnerable in this game.
I agree to a certain extent. So I think that that is a great game plan if you generate a lead and you're able to push forward. Right now, you don't have to push in the mid lane. You don't have to push in the bottom lane, in my opinion, either. if they go into a 1-3-1 setup, sure, you can force, but you can only have so many mistakes before 100-3s just rip this map open. So it's going to come down to whether GRX can pick those windows, and so far in the group stage, they certainly have lacked in that degree.
Definitely would agree, but at least it does give for them a very clear way to play the game, a very clear winning condition. This is something, you know, Mark had talked about a fair bit on the desk, talking about the ability to pick these dive comps, to give yourselves a clear way to win. Everyone targeting this one or two players, everyone going forward with the same goal. It is much easier to execute very often than it is to play a front to back or to play a 1-3-1 or some of these more complicated play styles.
And here we go into this one as we load in for the last game of Worlds for these two teams. If 100 Thieves win, they secure themselves third place in the group, losing to the LPL number 2 and the EULCS number 1 and ending 2-4, at least getting a couple victories over GRX. GRX, though, themselves had already done better than their year's predecessor. Hong Kong Attitude last year failed to get out of the play-in stage. GRX made it through pretty easily. They were mostly dominant throughout their games, hoping, though, they can at least get a single game win, which Mad Team could not just yesterday here in the group stage, and in so doing would at least tie for third place in the group. So definitely some pride on the line, and we can see what these teams can do for us in their last game, probably of the year. Summoner's Rift is ready. The players are as well, and we'll get ourselves into our 5th game of the day. That battle for first, of course, coming in after this one. GRX in the blue, 100 Thieves in their home colors of red. Ssumday on a bit more of an influencer in this top lane, and we'll watch as Ryu is going to try to prove himself on Ryze.
And I do want to mention the fact that GRX coming in on through play-ins is going to be the only play-in stage team not going to be able to make it out of their group. And kind of what this means for the LMS region as a whole. They really would like to win this game and tie it up at 1-5. Just because, you know, when you see Mad coming in, people did have some expectations on that team. This hook is going to land.
That's cleansed down early on, but still damage from Anda. And keep in mind, he still has flash if needed and a body slam from Koala if he really needs that. Walk's going to take some autos. There's no more real crowd control left, so they'll be able to walk away with just some injuries. And depending on how hard Anda goes, they can maybe force delayed recalls, but theoretically, they can get back to lane and not miss too much here after regenning at the fountain.
Still, really nice level 1, and they may actually start on the red. We'll see if they're going to stick around at all. They have a lot of wards dropped on this side of the map, but could be another delayed invade.
They certainly get a bit of ward control here if they want
They are
it.
spotted.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty big failure if they didn't notice that was actually dropped, because that ward was dropped in their vision. So I think they should back off and go to their own blue. But we will see. Could be a level 1 roam. This is a pretty crazy start.
Yeah, well, they know that no one's invading just yet. Now they can see it, and as the red buff's getting leashed up, Koala gonna have a pretty hard time stealing. I wouldn't body summon a red if I were him. But a lot of wards all around make sure that they know Empty isn't waiting to smite.
Oh,
and that's a hook over the wall. They're gonna follow through in this one, but there's no lantern to bring him in. Ignite is burned, but now Afro is gonna have to jump out of this one. Krugs are aggroing, and he's at half HP. Afro probably should have just flashed over the wall. He's burning down. He will not bait the body slam. He'll stay alive, but that's probably gonna be a forced recall. Landing's gonna be hard with that little health.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to go back to
Oh,
base.
Koala could body slam this. He's gonna try to go for the kill. It's not quite gonna be enough. The lasso back in. This is already a bloody game. And Afro and Rikara top the damage charts.
This is a bit of a mess. I mean, they go back in. They do overall come out on top, I would say, with the steal away of the red, and it's going to be a bit of a tougher start there. But Empty is already counter jungling. He's already taking away Anda's red, so not even sure if that ends up being true. And Aphromoo going to have to use both his potions. Does get very low, but they do have both summoners down on Stitch.
However, now Empty could be spotted out here.
His ward didn't go in the brush, so it means he's gonna get spotted, has to flash away, and jumps in the queue forward. Couple more hits, 2 autos, and Anda could kill him, but he's got no flash left. Can Ssumday come down? He's zoned out by PK, and Empty's still on the run. He's trying to figure out which way to go, but he's gonna be auto-attack. He juked to look for skill shots, but the red buff lands, and Anda gets the easiest kill you've ever seen.
And once again, Anda having a fairly good start to this game. Nice invade. I think over-aggressive from Afro nearly cost them, but then passed well back to the top side of his jungle before stopping a blue buff and able to shut that invade down.
Yeah, definitely the case, and now certainly coming out very far ahead. He hits level 3, he stole away the buff, and he's coming over here behind Candy.
Rune Prison into the shot. That's going to be very easy. Now can Candy get out? Health bar is very low. Aftershock will not be enough. Anda 2-0.
I mean, he knew that Anda was right there. He knew that he had just killed his jungler, that he would be on that side of the map, and Candy playing without the respect. He doesn't have cleanse. He has no way to get away from this, but Here is empty, no ward in the brush. He's not sitting in the brush. You can actually clear that camp from the brush, so you see if Anda is coming over, and should have been able to position perhaps a little bit better to keep himself safe.
Yeah, and the other thing you can actually do is pull it nearly around the corner, so your character model is in fog of war, and then you can't get the jump on them. You're throwing pebbles into the Raptors itself, helping it clear out the camp. This is just actually a heads-up play from Andrew. I love the fact that he flicked him back towards the middle part of the lane, made maximum distance between Candy and the turret. That's just very well played. Also
positioning himself to block the Justice Punch, so not enough difference was really ever going to be able to be created there. A really good start for 100 Thieves, but you have to feel a little bit has been kind of donated over to them here by GRX in these early minutes.
Well, let's see what else can happen here. It's only 300 gold difference, though. Keep in mind, other lanes have been going pretty well. You've got good farm from Empty and a bit of a lead for Stitch down on the bottom side. So room to be had, a nice flay forward, but Stitch does have cleanse if needed. Hook comes out, cleanses away, still gets pulled back, though. And the seismic shove means Anda's already 3-0.
And once again, this guy's just everywhere on the map, and every single time he goes for a play, it just seems to be working. Very nicely done from 100 Thieves jungle.
Yeah, a bit of a dream game here for Anda. 3 kills in 4 minutes is a very impressive start for him, and he's looking for more. He's spotted out on a ward, but we'll see if he can get behind Candy here.
Well, Candy does have flash, and he's going to stay out of range of this Ryu Ryze, so that won't be a kill this time around. The first failed gank of the entire game for Anda.
And I like how active 100 Thieves have been on the map. You know, we said we would like to see it against Invictus. They went for some plays, they didn't really work out. This time around, pretty much every play they have gone for has worked. Koala might look to stop the recall here. We'll actually let him go back, and this is one of those games now where if you are GRX, you need the game to slow down a lot to come online.
Yeah, you definitely do, and Aphromoo, nice with the flash play. The cleanse was available, but Stitch, not much chance of getting out of that one without his flash up. He did have the cleanse, but not able to create this distance, and you see Anda fling him right in.
You're almost guaranteed to get that pull back unless you get it pretty much on the frame, you get hooked. So still created the distance, even though the hook ended afterwards. And now,
we go again.
Looking at round 2, Stitch is summonerless. Koala's not too far away. Will they make this play? Afro is in fog. The same for Anda. This is a giant minion wave. If you fail this dive, you take a lot of damage. They're going to try. Hook is not going to land. Good dodge by Stitch. And a seismic shove not going to land either. Koala stays alive.
Yeah, nicely played there by GRX and their bottom lane. Pretty calm stuff from Stitch. An easy sidestep, he will stay alive. And now it's going to be a 3-man play, or potentially 2-man play here up on the top side. They're actually trying to keep Ssumday from getting back to his turret.
Swap to the Ignite as well for PK, so if he's able to land the ultimate, this should confirm a kill.
The flash E over, there's no way out for Ssumday. This is surely going to be the top lane going down, and a lot of farm lost to an already TP-less top lane.
And this is what we saw in the gauntlet from GRX. The ability to play around PK on Urgot was very good. Something that I would have liked them to go back towards more top lane carries, and that's a good kill.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, it's the kill itself is less impressive to me than the setup. That he had already pushed Ssumday out of lane twice. He forced him to TP back, chunked him out again pre-6, then he has to make the long walk back, and they're there waiting for him. So, you know, the execution may have been easy, but certainly some impressive laning from PK to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think the more impressive thing is they confirmed the kill instantly. That's a flash into a flip. That guarantees your ultimate. We've seen so many missed Urgot ultimates, just throwing it out from a brush and kind of hoping it hits. They know that they have the play set up. Why not go for the 100% way to complete it?
Of course, it just denies more and more farm. 21 CS lead up in that top lane. PK might just be the force that GRX needs to get a win on the board here in the main stage at Worlds. They will sadly end 4th or tied for 3rd. We'll see which way that ends up there. And they're going to keep clearing the jungle for now, though, and equal in farm, but up 800 gold from all the kills he's gotten. We'll see if 100 Thieves can keep winning through the jungle.
And both of these teams actually made changes throughout the year. You know, we mentioned in last game the addition of Anda halfway through that second split for Meteos, and then at the end of the year, adding Rikara to this lineup certainly changed the way that 100 Thieves had to approach the game. On the flip side, you have to remember that they were playing additional mid laner, additional support player, sometimes 2 additional junglers at the same time for GRX. This is a team that was trying to find that magic recipe.
Yeah, not even Stitch played all the games. Fuji, their other mid laner, played bot lane a couple times as Candy came in once in a while, and now Stitch going to be looking at this one as the rest of the squad coming through. Aphromoo is a little bit isolated, but they've got the damage on Stitch as well. Who's the first kill? It's going to be a Thresh getting the kill onto that Kalista, but Body Slam's going to get a trade as Koala gets himself the second kill of the fight. Both supports now +1 in that column, but Koala's still running, and Gragas has very little places to go. Knocked down as Anda's on his 4th of the game.
Empty's got to be wishing he was level 6 so badly right now. If he had the ultimate, perhaps could have turned something around there, but instead, it is that 2 kills, 400 Thieves, and everyone gets away but Aphromoo.
And 100 Thieves are just looking much more coordinated right now. They seem to be on the same page of what they want to be executing. They're playing a lot more aggressively, a lot more free, and this is a turret dive taking place between 2 turrets where they know members of GRX can make it down, but still the confidence to go for it.
That was actually a hook that was flashed over by Koala that then ends up hitting Stitch, so a little bit unlucky there for Stitch. Gets betrayed by Koala, does go down, and Aphromoo was heading over to the top side, but looks like he called off that roam. Had got the early Moby boots by, so was at least thinking about roaming up top to try to turn around top lane, but may have decided to call that off.
Well, sad for Stitch, this Kalista game not going too well. 0-2-1. The ganks have been really good. Obviously, level 1 was pretty crazy. They burned some summoners that way. Anda made a visit, but not the start you really want. They're down 8 CS in a matchup where most people had been beating Rikara overall in this group stage.
Yeah, and I really think it becomes very hard for a Kalista to fight from behind because you are so short range. You know, you always are kind of exposing yourself in these fights, and very often you have to see a Kalista snowballing to kind of have that really big effect. You will still have the ultimate for playmaking, though.
It is another one of those situations as well where you're building the exact same item. So it's not like, you know, you can say Blade of the Ruined King to Ginsu's, I'll have a better spike when I'm sitting on my lifesteal, I'll have a safer laning phase. The fact that they just build the same stuff, but, you know, Rikara is accelerated, makes it an even more difficult lane. Now we see Anda trying to impact this top side.
PK has Ghost though from his spell, but pops it right away. Now can he get away from the knockup is the important thing. Not going to be pulled back, no seismic shove either. Hoping it would have gotten that, so a pretty easy Ghost pickup there. And now into the mid lane they go. Ryu has no summoners, might be Fear, but not going to happen. Out they go.
Yeah, what happened to the Fear there?
He didn't press
He just didn't use it. I'm not sure if it was on cooldown or a misclick or something, but just straight up did not use the Fear there onto Ryu. Could have potentially been at least a chunk out. Should have been something, but instead the ultimate is revealed and they get nothing.
Yeah, it was always going to be a hard kill to confirm because Candy had no way to get into that play. Had no flash available. Looked like ultimate was still on cooldown as well. So
it still is.
Yeah, nothing really going to be happening there. And you can see right now they're just trying to protect Ssumday from the dive. Ryze ultimate can get him a little bit closer to that turret, but Ssumday is taking wicked punishment up here, and PK really is becoming the win condition right now for the GRX lineup.
Definitely the case, and I do think that Urgot, you know, can take over a game in the team fights. You know, we have seen some Urgots really be able to do that. It's not very often that you see the Urgot being able to be that full-on split push win condition, but we'll see if PK can make it happen for his team. Perhaps with some help from Empty, you may be able to snowball that lane out of control.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen PK do it on Urgot. I mean, one of the team fights that comes to mind was actually when he was able to flash over the Raptor wall and got a 4-man stun in the regional gauntlet to qualify them. So not someone that is unfamiliar with the champion. I think it's just about how much of the breaks the rest of the map can put on, because it is starting to take a little bit of a beating elsewhere.
Well, time for round 4 into the bottom lane for Anda, as this time around there is still no flash for Stitch, but has an ulti to bring Koala to safety. And the trigger's not pulled. Is Empty waiting around at the wing, but there's the hook. And it's shove, and they finally pull him back, maybe a bit late, but at least he's not dead. 3v2 in the bot lane. As they're going to keep pushing, though, of course, as 100 Thieves gets the turret damage.
Yeah, it's still a really good play from 100 Thieves. They get the TP out of Candy here. They get the chunk on Koala. They're pressuring the turret. It may just go down, but it looks like they will be able to hold on at least for another wave.
As long as Galio's not threatening, this is going to be pretty safe. Ryu's choosing to recall out of mid lane, and now the same for Galio, and this is going to be the turret falling down. First turret in for 100 Thieves.
But Ryu's positioning on that recall, or the fake recall, was actually really nice. You can see PK also responds in kind. Because they don't have any vision in the bottom side jungle, the fact that Ryu just walked into River, they flash forward.
Flash over, that's going to be the cleanse, and now he's a little bit alone, gets pulled back in with the Lantern. Nocturne, will he re-engage? Yes, and Empty gets himself a kill into Rikara. Trade on the Koala, not just yet, finally so. 2 for 100 Thieves, they knock down Empty and Koala.
Anda is just so strong this game. I mean, the fact that he's already on jungle item, Sork Boots, he has 5 kills. and he's level 8. He is really being a difference maker here, and now comes the dive.
Yet again, Stitch has a flash, but no way out, and 6-0-2, he's dominating the Lantern to safety.
Oh!
Aphro just flashed away from the open, it didn't land. No, PK is on the hunt, but can anyone even join? No, as 100 Thieves get a 3-for-1 extended dive.
Yeah, that was a very close ultimate from PK, probably wishing he had a flash first. However, you can just see how confident right now this lineup is playing. Rikara goes forward, starts this one off. Sure, it looks over-aggressive, but the rest of the team's still on the same page.
And I'm not sure he knew Koala was there. Empty, though, is able to go in, finish off that kill, and it looked like he took so much damage from actually Unraveled Earth there from Anda, so losing so much of his health, and then they decide, hey, we can just dive this guy. Anda's going to wrap behind. Aphromoo able to set it up for the fling once more. Aphromoo has been on point with his hooks and plays this game. They grab another kill, and this looked like it would have been the trade, but that one looked like it touched his model just barely out of range.
Man, maybe 50 range, sure. I don't know what it was, but that was so incredibly tight. Would have been a nice kill to pick up for PK, as he has been the win condition. 1-0-0 on the Urgot. Would have loved for that to be a 2 with a giant shutdown over Anda.
And it's always tough because he's the only lane that's winning, and he now had to TP away from his lane to stop bullying Ssumday to try to help somewhere else. Didn't get anything from it, so yes, he's still ahead of Ssumday, but it gives Ssumday a little bit more time, a little bit more space to get those levels and those items. So that TP, fairly costly for PK.
And even though PK's ahead, I mean, I wouldn't say he's Oblivion, Orb, 10 Steel, Dark Steel ahead, so he's probably not as ahead as other people on the map. So, you know, he's having a good game, but by comparison, Anda just a little bit more impressive right now.
Having maybe his best game. Yeah, it's definitely going well for the 100 Thieves jungler, kind of doing a bit of a 1v5, as everyone else is holding up, but he's the difference maker here as the squad rotates top, and of course there's Anda, part of the siege as well. EpicSkillshot not gonna land, Empty waiting in the wings. He knows he can ult in, and look at this dive in the top side. PK gets the ult out, and they're gonna trade those, but the health bar is so small. Looking for round 2, Exhaust is on. 3 more auto attacks make it 1. PK knocks down Ssumday out of the turret.
And you know what, PK, I take it back. Maybe you are gonna be able to carry just as hard as what Anda is, because he just turret dives him a second time.
I mean, he's making it look easy against Ssumday. This was the first team all NALCS top laner, the best top lane performer in the NALCS this year.
And now into the top lane as the ults come across. A good Lantern that's called out. Gets him to safety, but now they'll re-engage in the 4 versus 4. Rune's gonna show up, and it's Ryu right on top. Gets taunted, cleanses the way, but it's gonna be the kill as they knock down Koala. And that hook from downtown means 2 more kills for Anda.
The man is legendary at 15 minutes, and they want more.
They're gonna find some damage, but can they get the rest as their shove won't land? But now with the flay in, Candy does not have a way out, and it's going to be Rikara showing up on the scoreboard.
And I think this is what more people wanted to see early game. Just some initiative, the willingness to make plays. And you know, whilst not the same caliber of opposition, GRX is winless in this tournament so far. Really do respect the way that 100 Thieves have been attacking this game.
I mean, Anda is having an incredible game. Certainly have to give a lot of credit, I think, to Aphromoo as well, who has really been the enabler for a lot of these plays, setting up for Anda to come in and pick up these kills.
Mate, he is 100% presence in these kills. Ryu trying to ruin that, gets the cleanse out of Stitch, but when it's 11 kills and you're 8-0-3, that is a hard carry performance.
Yeah, I mean, Stitch was down 4 levels there to Ryu. He did just hit level 9, but you know, very far behind in the experience as well here. And here's the play one more time, and moving up to the top side. Aphromoo setting it up with the hook.
And this is the risk of playing a dive come from behind. You think that you see the kill. You dive on, you get everything in your favor. Oh, well, no, he's saved, knocked to safety, and now all of a sudden you're running away from just a superior force at this stage of the game. Ryu going in was dangerous, I will say. If that was a little bit more of a 50-50 gold lead, wouldn't have been the case, but the skill shot's still on point, and 100 Thieves able to clean up.
Yeah, Aphromoo making it look like a point and click with the hooks, has hit hook after hook this game, and a good sidestep by Candy, but it's not going to save him as the 4 members are able to chase him down. And Empty, you know, with the engage there, it was a good thought, but they haven't been able to really execute on these Nocturne engages, haven't really been able to get much out of them.
And it does seem like some loss of focus for GRX. Stitch failed to ult that entire fight to save Koala, one of the big strengths of that Kalista. So some things left on the table here. 100 Thieves picking up everything that is allowed for them as they look now for their 3rd turret kill of the game. It'll be close with the Herald charge, but not just yet.
And Anda now picking up the Mage Eyes. He is snowballing and gonna go all in for it. We'll see if he can get it all the way stacked up to 25.
Absolutely. At the same time, has gone back, bought himself a stopwatch as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go into something like a Banshees at the same time after this point. So now, on a mage, if you feel like you're ahead, Magi's isn't actually the riskiest play because you do have a 600 gold please don't kill me button as well as a very clean itemization ever since they gave Banshees Veil. Cooldown reduction is just one of those items that is much smoother to pick up.
That being said, this is still Nocturne, Gragas, you know, Nocturne can fly in alongside some of that CC. You might die before you actually have a chance to get the stopwatch off, but we'll see if they can ever even get to him in a fight, because so far has been all all the time.
And, you know, when I'm 8-0-3, I'm not really scared of the 1-3-1, but potentially could be the case. And once again, just looking for his play on the map.
4 members spot for PK.
4 versus 1. Likely to be a victory here. Does have the flash, but does not have the health bar. A shutdown, of course. It's 4 more stacks to Anda.
And a lot of gold. Like, he just got another shutdown. They're going to be able to push back in. He's been around for all the sieges on the turret. Just in continuing to grow this gold lead. This is a stellar performance.
It really is, and it's a feel-good game for Anda, for the 100 Thieves, at least so far. You know, it's one to be able to kind of remember, have something to be pretty happy about here in your final performance of Worlds 2018.
And we'll wait as they keep pushing forward. Either way, of course, this game is the eulogy for both these squads at Worlds 2018. The flash ult forward, another catch, but that's a good ult out for Stitch, and the re-engage now for the Galio, but it's already Koala going down, and as they jump in, looking for a couple to pick up now as they're trying to run with their fear, and Stitch finds himself a single kill. Empty though, just barely shut down from downtown, a double kill, and now Stitch being run through. Another legendary pickup for Anda on his 10th now.
007 Ryu getting involved, but it's all been about Anda. So strong, 22 stacks! This is insane at 19 minutes. He is just going off this game, and PK now looking for something, but not going to be able to find it. It's such a tough game for the Urgot to really make good on his advantage. He's been so good in the 1v1, finding pressure against Ssumday constantly, but the rest of his team is just way too far behind.
It certainly is. We see another play.
Ooh, and Rikara getting taken down. PK in a 1v3 grabs a solo kill, and he's going to maybe try to walk out. Ryu will get the damage, does find himself the trade. Candy holding the front line, and they will get that 1-for-1.
And I think it was Kobe that was talking about it on the earlier cast. The advantage of snowballing bottom lane to open up the map to not only get your jungler ahead, but to get your 80 carrying support online. Flip that, you can see on the top side of the map, PK still having a terrific performance. When your team is down 6,000 gold in 20 minutes and you're up 30 CS, that's a pretty good game individually, but just not able to have the same relevancy as he's been caught in a side lane a little bit too much, and the rest of the team hasn't gotten going around him.
Yeah, it's definitely very tough. I mean, you're not going to have vision, you're not going to have support. Everyone really is kind of coming to Ssumday's rescue, whereas PK certainly just doesn't have that same level of assistance. And 100 Thieves for them, it really does feel like a question of, can you clean this game up very quickly? Can you look like you can close this game cleanly, or are they going to try to have some fun with it, try to brawl it out a little bit more in what is their final game? I
would like to see them play with that sort of sense of pride of cleaning out the game, closing it efficiently, and just, you know, sending your way off from Worlds with a dominant win like it has been so far, and making that happen. Of course, for GRX, of course, you want to see them get signs of life as well. I would like to see them make that comeback happen. This would be one of the largest comebacks of Worlds. It would be another feel-good victory as well.
And I think compositionally, it is possible, but the gold really is the problem. They're going to need to have that miracle engage. You have to find Rikara and immediately and get a kill to really have a hope, I think, in the extended fight. So we'll see if someone like Koala could really find that engage to set up the fight.
And it would be a pending shutdown onto Anda. It'd be maybe 900 or so total gold, counting the assist. With you get that one, and so that's, you know, a third of the gold lead right there, and maybe start working it back. You could lose 10 stacks on the Giants if you die there. Midling gonna fall though and stretch the gold lead another 500, and that means 100 Thieves can now start working towards that Baron control. You look at the GRX vision, and they can at least see the Baron pit, if not their own jungle, and that is Anda spotted. Aphro as well, they'll have to kite back.
And I like this out of 100 Thieves. Continually attack the strong side of the map. Baron, not really the objective they're looking for right now because they don't have a main take. You know, Aphro on a squishy support and also on a squishy junglist. They would do the Baron very quickly if it is uncontested, but that's not going to be the case. So instead, they keep floating towards PK. They're not giving him the space to farm up. This guy really has been the shining light. And for the LMS squads, you know, 2 winless teams is a massive deal in Worlds. And I think that they need to start trying to get this mid game back on track. I want to see some aggressive plays. I want to see them try and attack into the side lane, because if they don't free up any portion of the map, they will just slowly but surely start losing out on the farm of the jungle and get strangled out of this game.
And I mean, you said it, facing down the barrel of 2 winless teams, it had never happened that a major region team went 0-6 in groups before. As far as I know, you know, that did happen already once the LMS in this tournament, so they're trying to fight for that pride, trying to fight against it happening at GRX here as well.
Well, they look pretty good in play-ins, but up against these teams have been a little bit harder. 100 Thieves having a decent game for themselves here, and Anda having one of the very best of his career. Short as it's been, joined partway through the split, and he's had a really good showing, I would say, at Worlds. Even knowing his competition, I think he's been pretty solid and certainly dominant here in this one. Though they will not move on, 100 Thieves going to at least maybe end on a win, and they're going to keep pushing forward. Have not found themselves dives in a while, but the wards are going to time out, and they're going to start getting control over this Baron soon as Koala gets hooked in, and they're not going to yet look for the dive, but get plenty of damage, and a Stitch ult gone.
Certainly is, and you can see the wall kind of saved Koala there, because he could have get dragged back through the rest of the unraveled Earth. In saying that, we are about to see second item pick up for the Galio. Is going to be more AP. We've got 2 items on Stitch, so this is a part of the game where you're the half an item behind. They go for the play.
Nocturne ult in, Lantern brings him right into the squad. That'll be a quick call to empty, but Galio shows right back in. 4v5, can GRX make it happen? A big taunt, the knockup, and the suppression. A big fear beyond death, but one's already been answered by Ssumday, and PK is gonna be killed. That player's gone, and now Koala on the way out, but Realmore brings the team right back in. Over the wall goes the Gragas, and a barrel to slow.
And probably the best engage you could get. Brings multiple members right into the back line, but the gold line is too great. They shut down Anda, but the rest of the team lives.
1,000 gold for the kill onto Anda. 150 for the assist pool. Not quite the same number, but it doesn't matter. They lost 3, including their jungler, and even though there's no spun for 100 Thieves, they will look for this Baron, and there is that tiniest chance of a steal. Koala might just try. We've seen crazier things at Worlds.
Get in there.
And he's going to be zoned a bit out. The Lantern to make sure, and that is Baron Asher picked up for 400 Thieves.
Yeah, you don't want to risk anything silly like that. Might be able to get a kill here, though.
And with Aftershock gone, he can survive this damage up, but no Ignite available, so Koala, yeah, can't even get through this one. That's the quick pickup, and a delayed 4-for-1 with Baron for 100 Thieves.
Fortunately, they checked the eucalyptus tree, they found themselves a koala, and this is how it starts. You can see he dives through the unraveled earth again, takes all of his health, however, he does his job, gets Galio into the back line, big flash 3-man taunt here, and it was starting to look okay.
And it was the best possible 3 members there from Candy, so it was a great engage. The shutdown on the strongest member, all of that going into PK, but with Rikara and Ryu still safe, still shooting out that damage, not enough to get that through that fight.
So while they're forcing a flash at a PK, but he's going to face check into Rikara. Ulti is going to be up, but doesn't go for that shot there. Either way, 100 Thieves are just kind of blowing through the tools that GRX have, and with 10,000 gold up, they're almost assuredly closing this one out.
Yeah, because a dream fight looks like, you know, blow up a squishy, get a fear onto the other 4 members, and just allow Stitch to free hit and get as many spears into people as possible. Now without that flash available, that play becomes much more difficult. Hook is on.
And just more retreat. GRX yet to find their way back into this game. They had that little glimpse of the fight. They actually potentially went positive in gold because of the shutdown, but obviously Baron meant more. And the siege continues with a 2,400 gold Baron power play. Make that even higher now.
Yeah, and you can see 100 Thieves pushing in all the waves. Now you have a couple members mid, you have Ssumday pushing up top, and Ryu's going to be corralling that wave in the bottom lane. They want the Baron-powered minions in all those lanes. They are looking for a clean closeout on this game here, and we'll see how quickly they can crack the base because there is just one more outer remaining.
And this has been dominant from 100 Thieves. You know, this is still a team that clawed their way into Worlds, deserved their spot because they went into play-ins. This isn't an automatically seeded team, so can't really argue with GRX, you know, deserving their spot. However, 100 Thieves now coming in, showing that when they play their style of game, when they are able to generate early gold leads, that they can put pressure on the rest of the map and looking the goods right now in the siege.
And honestly, you know, this has been kind of 100 Thieves throughout the NALCS. Traditionally, the teams that are lower than them in the standings, that are a little bit weaker on paper, they very rarely lose to. They are a consistent team, but by the same right, the teams that outclass them, they usually do not take down, and that has kind of been a bit of the story here at Worlds.
It's been a very 100 Thieves group stage in that sense, where the results are exactly what's expected to give them some positive. Hang on, though, that's an ulti across. 3v1 into Ryu, a quick Zhonya's, but what happens when he comes back up for that one? Still surrounded, nearsighted, airborne. The damage comes through. Stitch on the board in the second with the re-engage, and it just solo kills Koala and gets his 11th of the game, and out goes GRX.
It just gets absolutely exploded. One combo there from Anda is enough to just pop Koala, who has no HP, no MR either on the Gragas, and is very, very squishy.
And the wall zones out the team, so more of the base will start falling. Inhibitor turret down, and ranged attacks could be more. Nice spell shield. Empty gets away from the lasso. But will there be a re-engage? GRX should probably give away the inhibitor. They will do so. 100 Thieves will back off.
And I like this. Ssumday rotating into the mid lane, making sure that he is close enough to be a part of that play. Don't really want to teleport from that distance. So you can see now has a second wave to pressure in. The rest of the team will just take the recall. Now they're 13,000 gold up. And at 28 minutes into the game, very significant gold lead. We've kind of seen the Hail Marys thrown already from GRX, and they have been ineffective. I've kind of got a pick here, a pick there, but not really the fight they're looking for.
Yeah, and with 100 Thieves, getting to that point where they can even 1-3-1, they have an inhibitor open, they have so much backline damage, there's really not many ways back in from GRX at all. We'll see if they can find an absolute miracle of a fight.
But of course, 100 Thieves are itemizing against those sort of Hail Marys. You've got Zhonya's on 2, Stopwatch on another, Guardian Angel now in for Rikara, so even those picks are more and more unlikely. But they can still try, of course. The last game of the year for both these teams, GRX hoping to not make it that 0-6, but time is winding down, and you have to assume this is, 99-1.
Yeah, I mean, Anda 6,000 gold ahead, essentially, here over Empty. Having an absolute crusher of a game, just looking
He's
so
the richest
good.
person in the entire game. That's actually pretty rare form for a jungler, but yeah, he is absolutely 1v5.
And I think that this kind of just shows the entirety of this group and kind of what the teams have been dealing with, because we are in a situation now where we'll head towards a tiebreaker for that first, second place spot. But 100 Thieves have certainly cemented themselves with a very emphatic style right now into that third best team. And, you have a look at the board and you can judge the relative strength of other groups, but they at least can say they came in, first year into League of Legends, have had a very good performance qualifying for Worlds, and now taking out some teams. Another fight starting.
Looking at taking out at the mid laner here. It's the lot of damage, and it's actually Anda going down. That jungle mage gonna fall as 100 Thieves have to disengage this one, 4v5, and things like that are how GRX get back in. 100 Thieves probably not willing to siege a 4v5.
Yeah, it is definitely a very nice pick. A lot of cooldowns expended to get it. But, he is separated from the team. Aphromoo not there to lantern him out, and it's a good pick from GRX.
Yeah, and the other thing is, when you kill a Medjai's user, not only are you getting gold in response, you're actually costing him stats at the same time. So these last couple of kills have been even more impactful. He was sitting around the 22 stacks both times he fell. So, good proactive play onto the right target for GRX.
Yeah, you drop 40 or 50 ability power when you get that kill. It'll happen again next time he goes down if it does happen. And it just slows the game for 40 seconds more. Give more time for Kalista to buy some more items. She did stop down for some defensive stats, which is now a Maw of Mortius, a little bit more durable here. That Guardian Angel is now done for Empty next time that dive. It is still that, 1 or 2% chance to win, but the way you win is through things like that.
Yeah, every time you get a pick, you buy yourself more time, you get more items in, and even if the gold lead stays the same, the later you get into the game, the less it does matter kind of relative to the game state. But 400 Thieves, it is their first year as an organization. They did get to a finals, they did make it to Worlds, and you have to think about some of the inexperience on this team. There are some very experienced players, Ssumday, Ryu, Aphromoo, but Anda is a very young rookie.
Yep.
You have Rikara as well. He has not even played in LCS Split, subbed in for the team during playoffs, and certainly hasn't had the best tournament, but is going to be getting a lot of experience here and a chance to play against some of the best in the world.
And now it's Koala, stuck a little bit alone here, finds himself a bit of damage, but certainly not a way out. Add 4 more stacks back in for the end.
Yeah, it certainly does. At the same time, I do want to take just a moment to praise PK. He's still up in gold in this game. He's still even in CS, 4-0 and 3. He's just fallen behind.
53
Had
gold.
to make a liar of you.
Unlucky.
Has been one of the shining lights for this team. See whether they can contest this Baron there. It doesn't even look like they're going for it. But this is a guy that I think that really does have kind of a bright future. You have a look at the inconsistency of some of the other LMS top laners that we've seen so far in this tournament.
Yeah.
And he does seem to be the genuine goods on the world stage.
Especially when you consider the opponent, right? Ssumday really is no slouch. This guy has been very, very good for a long time, and being able to look good against an opponent such as him certainly is impressive. The 100 Thieves now with the Baron buff closing in.
Could be time for the very last siege here. Baron on for 3 minutes, looking to knock down the middle inhibitor. Bot lane already gone. When does the defense happen? A hook towards PK. They get his burst by the star pop. Stoneblade, in comes Galio. Could this be the turnaround fight? They're going to try. The resurrection for the top laner. Look at the next card of this fight as Ryu is going to kill out Empty, and Ssumday going to charge into the back line. As 100 Thieves can find a couple more kills. They've knocked down 2 already, and it's GRX just scattered to the winds, looking to run away. Koala pulled right back in, and they're going to go for yet another kill. Not going to find it just yet, but he's already on 12. Ryu going to find that assassination now. And what defense can there even be as PK falls and it's Stitch against the world. Still 5 standing as 100 Thieves will knock down the last few structures. They will get rid of the minions. And with Baron on in a 5v1, they'll make it a 2-4 scoreline. 3rd place in the group. At least they'll end Worlds on a win. And they'll end it with a fountain dive on top of it. Another kill. 12-2 and 13 for Anda as a win comes through for 100 Thieves.
One of the standout games of the tournament here from Anda. Absolutely dominating performance from the 100 Thieves jungler here. 25 kill participation. He had 3 kills at 4 minutes.
Yeah.
He was everywhere and really made it work for the 100 Thieves team.
And they just look like they outclassed GRX. Across the board this game, they were able to put together, a nice composition, then played the early game very well. GRX at the same time. Some individual players looking good across the tournament. PK, Stitch, 2 standouts, but never really able to find rhythm in this group stage.
Yeah.
And unfortunately will also end winless.
Nope, 100 Thieves very consistent. Stuck with the same lineup all the way throughout Worlds. 2-4 for them. And the very first international tournament for 2 of these players here. Of course, 3 long-standing players in the top lane, the mid lane, and the support. But Rikara and Anda, very new. Anda, I think, had a very good tournament.
Yeah.
Rikara, I think we had the interview saying, look, he's been put in a very rough situation, subbing in out of almost nowhere and did the best he could. Aphro, I believe, said that. And yeah, I was not in any way sort of displeased with Rikara. He got promoted up from Academy, had an okay showing at Worlds, and I think this is 100 Thieves ending where they expected to in this group.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to look at the competition he's up again as well. It is Jackie Love and Reckless, 2 of the finest marksmen in the world, and
Sure.
This is a guy who, a month or 2 ago was in the NA Challenger Series, right? The NA Academy League did get pulled up, and certainly doing his best, and I think can learn a lot from this experience going up against some of the finest players in the world.
And I think that on the flip side, when you have a look at GRX, this is a region that came in. Flash Wolves were expected to get out of groups. The other teams expected to play spoilers. Unfortunately, none of those things have happened. GRX in particular would be looking at their performance and thinking, you know what, even with a consistent lineup, we weren't able to get it done. We tried to make the changes. It did not work. More of a head-scratching world so far for the LMS, and have to see for future years how that really evolves.
It was a good run for GRX. They had started 1-7 in the first round robin of the summer split, made the run through the regional qualifier, so at least getting here was a nice surge, but yes, not the best main stage for them. Either way, player of the game, MasterCard player of the game, no one is surprised here. It is Anda. Shocking. I didn't need the prompt for that one. He was amazing on this champion.
Yeah, it certainly was, and was also very good in their game before this game, so I'm glad that he carried the momentum through, that now against, an opponent that was 0-5 going into this game, did flex his muscles and had some fantastic play.
He really did, and I think GRX, made some mistakes early to give him those kills, but then he certainly took the most that you could have with that. Stealing away the jungle camps, always in the right place at the right time, consistently diving bot lane, really was doing it all this game.
And one of the things we talked about with 100 Thieves, one of the reasons that games did go for a long time was the ability to push those leads. And I'm glad that, one of the younger players on this lineup, when given the opportunity to do so, seized it with both hands and really accelerated the pace of the game.
Yeah, honestly, really good stuff by this squad overall. And thinking about what's next on sort of the road for both of these teams, it's back to the drawing board for 2019, hoping your season looks good from there. And again, you had 2 very new rookies for 100 Thieves, 3 veterans. I want to see what it looks like next year. First year was good for them. GRX kind of similarly, they managed to get into Worlds and through the play-in stage. That was, I think, a good road up for them as well.
Yeah, I think the big thing was the fact that they started the year well on GRX, then it kind of fell away, and they did search for some answers. And I think that they haven't really answered that question themselves. Like, what does the best lineup look like for this team, and where are we going to look for those changes to be able to come forward?
Of course, we'll find that out in a few months. For now, though, we do have an interview with Aphromoo. Take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Aphromoo. It is the end of the group stage for 100 Thieves, but they did get to end with a win. So what was it like to at least end the group stage on a big win with the team?
It was fun. Didn't really have the pressure of, making it in the groups anymore. So we just played, stress-free and went as hard as we possibly could. So that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like fun, but of course, you only end on a 2-4 score here and do not exit the group stage or not go to the next round. How do you look back on the team's performance overall?
We did what we could. Had a lot of struggles. Boot camp, coming into the group stage. IG and Fnatic really well. Played really well. It was really fun going up against their bottom lanes, Reckles and Hylissang, Balan, and Jackie Love. Thought they played really well. And we got a lot of stage time together in internationally, because we didn't make it to MSI, so got to go to Worlds. First time, this org is put together for League of Legends, and then we're able to go to Worlds our first year. Pretty good.
Is there anything else you want to say to the 100 Thieves fans? What do they have to look out for coming up next from Aphromoo and the team?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching and cheering for us. Appreciate it, and look forward to next year.
Well, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for talking to me, and we'll be seeing a lot more of Aphromoo, I am sure. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it is that all-important clash between IG and Fnatic, so stick around.